Hey everyone and welcome. I'm Alex and I look after mobile here at Unflow, and today I'm going to be showing you a quick and easy way to add a banner to your app which lets you send messages to your users really easily. There's an example here of what a banner might look like. This one has a custom background like a darker grey, and when you tap on that you get a nice little promo for a new feature. To kind of give you a bit more context on how useful these are, if you look at an app like Monzo, generally when you open Monzo, you'll see one of these little things, and it will always promote you something new. So in this case, this one's telling me to get a savings account. When I tap on that, I'll get taken straight to a promo page to tell me about savings accounts. Some examples here of what those pages might look like, covering your account with an overdraft, and then introducing the nearby friends feature. So really gentle intros here, and then you open it, and then you get the detailed stuff. Again, this is in loads of different apps, so Monzo, Revolut, and then most shopping apps generally have this, and this comes in loads of different forms too, right? So there's this carousel here with some nice pictures, the banner we've already seen. Here we have like a bigger version of this, essentially. Sometimes it comes in the shape of circles that look like little stories. So there's plenty of different ways to do this. Now, getting this into your app with Unflow is super easy. This banner here, or something very similar to it, is like 4 lines of code or something. It's really simple. And there's a companion blog post that goes along with this that tells your developers how to set this up. Today, what we're going to do is focus on what happens after your developers have set this up, how you can manage this, how you can get the most out of it, and how you can make sure that people are really seeing the content that they need to be seeing. So if we take a look on our dashboard, the way we're going to do this is we're going to use something called a space. So a space is quite a logical thing. So a space is somewhere where your content lives. Now, generally, a space is something that will be separated out into a different part of your app. So in this instance, what I've got is this I'm going to call my home space. So this makes sense, right? This is on my home page. Now, I might have a space for my balance view, I might have a space for my card view, and so on. But the idea is you have a separate space for everything, and then you have a separate place where you can send content. So for example, I might have something that only applies to the credit card page. So this page might say something like, hey, you can get a 0% balance transfer offer or something. And I only want that to show on the correct page. So to make a space in Unflow, it's really easy. You just hit the plus page, you give it a name. In this case, I might want to call it home, and I pick a style. Now, I already have one of these, so what I'm going to do is just go straight to home. And I can see I already have some content in here. You won't do, but you can add some new content. While you're in here, you can edit it and you can change the style and so on. For now, we're not going to do that. We're just going to add our first piece of content, and we're going to show you how you get this added. So when you go to add content, you can add a plain piece of content here where you start from literally nothing. Some really useful stuff like adding the little feedback or even surveys. You know, for new feedback ideas, you might be like, hey, what did you think of this feature? Please tell us, did you like it? Did you not? The gallery has some kind of more advanced examples. So these have been pre-populated with images and text and so on. If you sort of have a rough idea of what you want, but you kind of, you need some pointers, these are really useful. For example, the onboarding one, which we're about to use, this has some images already in it, and it has some copy already in there. And you can kind of just rework that to suit what you want. So in my instance, I've already used this. So I've got my onboarding carousel, and I'm going to hit the back button, and I'm going to look at the onboarding carousel that I've already made called setup. So the setup page uses that template, and I've set it up in my delivery tab to show up in my home space, and I've given it a nice info. So here I have meet money flow, learn how to get the best out of us, and a picture of a piggy bank. Generally, I just think grab a nice image off of Unsplash or something. The better the image, it might lead to more clicks. And then I've not selected these 2 options. We'll come back to these in a sec. But this content here is just simple 3 pages, promoting get paid on time, telling them, hey, we think you should set up reminders, and then an example on the last page. Now, this last page is a little special. You can do this on any of the pages, but I always think it's best to leave it to the last one. On the last one, I have a button with a deep link. Now, this requires that your developers have set up deep links in your app already. They might not have done this, so you always want to check with them. But in this case, I know that because I made this demo app, I know this deep link will work. So I have a button with a deep link just on the last page telling me, hey, subscribe to notifications, and it will work. So I'll tap on this, and it will open a notification prompt. Again, you always want to check with your devs, but the cool thing is, once your devs have set up loads of deep links, which they might have done for other reasons like push notifications and general marketing, you can use those in here. So you might have links to all sorts of different screens in your app, and you can link to those from Unflow just by putting that link in here. There's lots of other options here, like choose how you want it to present. Do you want to show a close button? Do you want to move the page indicator to the top or bottom? And then set the different styles, light mode, dark mode, and so on. There's plenty of customization. And all of this can be run through an experiment too. So you might want to do a simple experiment like light mode, dark mode, but you also can do things like change the copy completely, change all the buttons, make it one page, make it two, make it a modal, make it sheet, all up to you. And then you get access to the results tab up here where you'll be able to see like how those pages did, and you can compare the results of the two of them. But in this instance, I'm happy with this. I've got my 3 pages. I think they look quite good. And again, this is for default content. I've just changed the copy and the link here. And I'm going to be able to set this live in a sec. But just to show you how fast things update, I'm going to change the name of my banner. So in this case, I think Meet Moneyflow it's not the right tone of voice, right? So I want to do something like, welcome to Moneyflow. A little bit different, a little bit gentler. I'm going to set this live. This is going to match to everybody. And if I background my app and reopen it, I get my new banner straight away because my app is set up to sync whenever it backgrounds and foregrounds. So in this instance, I see my content change. I tap on it and I see my lovely banner. And I can see my buttons there. There's some gorgeous animations going on, and this is a really nice way to get content to people. And it feels great. It's not HTML5, it's real native screen, so the content that you send to people does feel great. Your devs should probably be happy with it, and hopefully your designers will too, because they can have a lot of fun with the images they create here. Now, this is a perfectly fine example, and for some people, this might be all they ever do with a banner. You just want to put your new stuff here, you want to put your onboarding there. But for us, we want to go a bit further. Now, something that you might want to do is you might want to limit this so that only people who haven't onboarded already have seen it. So for example, you might track analytics where you track onboarding complete, onboarding started, and so on. You might limit this so only people who have finished onboarding, sorry, only people who haven't finished onboarding will see it. Now, to give you an example of kind of that in action, I have a premium announcement story that I've made. So this premium announcement story, first off, shows off our lovely story editor where you can add videos and image backgrounds and set the time of a page and so on. But it also uses some advanced filtering. So what I've done is I've set it so that I only want this to show to people where they've opened the balance page at least once. So I've made sure they've landed here. I'm sort of using that as a flag to say like, okay, they've dealt with everything else and they've come through to here. So they've opened it more than one time and their account isn't premium. Now, these properties and events are sent via the app. You can also send these via an API if you'd like. Again, this is something your devs will have had to set up, but I think it's worthwhile, when you first get this set up, to sit down together and work out, okay, what do we want to track? How much information is useful to us? I think properties like account types, when they joined, real basic information, and then a set of really simple analytics like page opened and various actions in your app that you think are important. You set all those up, and then you never have to think about that again, right? Like as long as those are set up, then you just see them in here and you don't have to chat to a dev again to get this to show up. So here I have open balance occurred more than one time and account type doesn't equal premium. I'm going to save this. So I'm going to show a premium promo to those users. Now I just want to note these settings here. I've got show the user the screen as soon as they match set up so that this will show up as a pop-up. So I really want to get into people's faces with this promo bit. I really want to sell my premium feature. So what I'm going to do is turn that on. And then as soon as a user matches, so they hit the screen and their account is on premium, it will pop up and they'll see it straight away. And I've also set up a push notification. Now, because this is a simulator, I won't see that push. What will happen in a real device is I set the screen live and the user sees a push. So I'm really going to push people into my app that way. And then, of course, just a little flag here for use in-app banner content as a push. If you really wanted to, you could change this content a bit for the notification itself. Now, what I'm going to do is set this live. I'm going to background my app. And what we're going to notice is that we don't see this content. Now, this is on purpose. So this is to show you how the filtering works. So I have open balance greater than 1 and account type is not premium. And in this example here, my user is a basic account holder. Sorry, my user is a premium account holder. So what I'm going to do is go to my account type and change it to basic and just run it. In your app in the real world, you'd probably just sign out and in. And you can see straight away, I've got my pop-up because it's detected. I've opened that screen. My account type is basic. And I've closed it and it's sat there. And just to show, we won't show that to the user again. So it will stay in the space, but we won't show the pop-up again just because it matches. And then we can also change this back if we want. So we can go back to premium, give it another run, and we'll see that it goes away. And content updates really quickly like that. So that shows you how you can change things. That same thing that we just shown, how fast it updates, that applies to the content within the screen as well as the banner too. And one little party trick that we like to show people is we sort of hinted at it a little bit earlier, but you can actually come in here and change the design of your space right from the dashboard. So if you've not used custom openers, in this case you're using the standard banner, you change it to a visual space, hit the background and come back in, and instead you get this gorgeous big set of cards which really show off the images, which is like, if you've got a good set of images or you're just really good at finding ones on Unsplash, you can use this instead. And I think this is a great way to show people content. And again, we can open all of those screens and they're exactly the same as before. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. There's a lot more you can do with this. So we've mentioned push. You could set up push. You could also set up experimentations if you'd like to. It's all up to you. There's pretty much no limit to what you can do with this. And again, once it's in, you don't have to think about it again. You can just play around and show all the content you want. So thanks for listening. And if you have any questions, please get in touch with us.